Town of Salem is a free-to-play game on any web browser, or $5 on Steam. It involves the three factions of the game trying to survive one another. The last group surviving wins the game. Right now, you might be wondering why pay the $5 price tag for the game on Steam. All it does is add in-game currency and supports the developers, both of which I'm more than okay with. These three groups are as follows: Townies, the quote-unquote good guys, the Mafia, which is the Mafia, and the Serial Killer, a solo killer whose goal is to be the last surviving person in town. This game is really fun to play with friends, as lying in-game is almost a necessity for surviving the whole game. Now that the general overview of the game is done, my friend Dmerk will, fill you in on the rest.
So the main concept behind this game is the smart thinking and the planning that's going to be required to win a game as any role you can think of. You can't be too obvious if you're a serial killer, and you can't go around healing the Mafia if you're a doctor. This adds a very special role of strategy to every single role, especially for the serial killers and Mafia. Another good thing about this game is the large variety of roles. Every single role for every faction serves some sort of unique purpose, and there is no all-powerful role that can fulfill the shoes of all 19 other roles. Each role serves its very own specialized purpose in the game. Just look at the Townies' list of roles. You have Lookout, Doctor, Jailer, Mayor, Veteran, and the list goes on, and every single role has its own very specific purpose. For example, if you're playing as the Townies, you need to piece together evidence given by your other players to find and lynch the serial killer and the Mafia, and you also have to be smart enough not to accidentally lynch the Jester. The Mafia has to plan out every single kill so as to not raise suspicion toward them. This means the amount of teamwork required to win, no matter what side you're playing on, has to do much more so with intelligence and skill and strategy and planning than it does random luck.
The music in this game is also very nice, at least in my opinion. The art style is also very pleasant to look at and is relatively well animated. But with the good comes the bad. One bad thing about this game is that the one stupid person could screw over an entire team. One dumb doctor could mean 4 people dead for the Townies, and one bad godfather could bring down an entire Mafia. This means that someone who just picked up the game and is relatively new will not often feel quite as welcome as the other more experienced players. Which leads to my next point, the community. Don't get me wrong, most of the community is nice and has a good sense of humor, but there are some people that are just so volatile that can bring a damper on your whole experience. I've met people that have legitimately been upset at me for not healing them or jailing a particular person, when really it's just a game.
In my own experiences with this game, which is close to 300 hours now, I have to say that for the most part, the community is pretty good. They're players who want to learn the game and play it well and work with their teammates to try to win. But there's also a very large handful of people that just want to ruin the game and troll you and grief you and not play the way the game's meant to be played. You're not going to avoid these people. They'll show up at least once every couple of games, and it's really just unavoidable. There's also a lot of players who are just getting into the game that don't have much experience with it, and they get a lot of pressure from more experienced players to figure, oh, you're a doctor, you should have known what to do here. Oh, you're an arsonist, you should have known what to do here. But don't let those people discourage you from learning the game and improving, because they were all at that point too when they first started playing the game.
Another bad thing about this game is more on the technical side of things, the frame rate. I've seen and heard people complain that they get random frame drops at certain points of the game, which I have also experienced on my machine. I can also only get 24 FPS when running perfectly, but this is probably due to the limitations they have when working in Flash Air, which is what was used to make the game, so I can't really fault them for that, but it does still bug me a little bit.
I have actually never had any issues with frame rate drops. I do have the occasional crash, which will happen maybe once every few weeks, but that's about it. Technically speaking, the game runs very well on my computer, and I'm actually using a Mac. Overall, I'm rating the game at a 9 out of 10. It is a fantastic game that really rewards strategic thinking and teamwork, which I think are two quintessential elements that should apply to every multiplayer game. The only real flaw with the game, and it's not really the developer's fault, is the community. There's a lot of third-party cheating going on, via Skype or texting or Steam chat. There's a lot of people who leave immediately because they get a role they don't like, and there's no punishment for leaving a game. There's a lot of people who try to game throw or grief or troll or just be very, very annoying. And, of course, there's always the people who get way too upset about the game when they lose or when they die, and they're just not fun to be around. So, final verdict, I would highly recommend this game to anyone who wants to buy it. The game's usually a lot more fun when you have more friends online to play it with anyway, so encourage your friends to play. It's a free game, and you can pay an extra $5 to have it in your Steam library, and they'll give you a lot of coins to spend on houses and costumes and pets and other cosmetic items.
Overall, I would say this game is very fun, though the community can be a bit unforgiving at certain times. I'd still give the game an 8 out of 10, worth the full purchase on Steam, and hell, I'd pay a lot more. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you disliked it, be sure to leave a dislike. Be sure to comment, and if you really, really liked it, subscribe for more content like this, or watch some of my other videos. This is your friendly neighborhood Aceman Austin00 here, and Dmerk, signing off.